with an attorney.
Right.
And I was recently talking with you, or just now talking with you. You said some things that was interesting, that you wanted to get into law, but you didn't see yourself into the field that you're in now. But you didn't necessarily want to deal with like people exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, I got some great experiences while I was in law school getting to represent people in people type issues rather than money type issues. And while I found it really rewarding, I also found it incredibly draining,
Mm.
getting so almost over involved in their stories and trying to almost feel their pain for them, and realize that that just wasn't going to be a great balance for me, whereas my background is in business, and so I already had that leg up of I can read a balance sheet, I understand financial statements,
Mm.
things like that, that plenty of your degrees that will take you to law school, like history and English, might not have taught you.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started off my career, it was a lot more broad base of you do corporate things, and that could mean all sorts of different stuff other than I didn't go to the courtroom, I wasn't a litigator. And from there, I was able to continually narrow down the type of practice that I do to where I've ended up today, which is as a private equity attorney. And I love what I do. I find it interesting and different every single day that I show up. And I know for me personally, if I were to have kind of repetitive job where every single day looks the same,
Mm-hmm.
I would lose my mind.
Yeah, and I can agree with that. Like being in sales, like every single day was different, and then when you
Hmm.
do the exact same thing every day, it can drive you crazy because it's like you know what to expect, and there isn't anything that to change everything up though.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, one of the things that I really appreciate about my job is because I focus a lot more on the mergers and acquisitions side of it,
Okay.
is there's a way to mark the passage of time of, all right, we've closed that deal, we've acquired or sold this asset, rather than a lot of practices where it's just your entire job is just every day chipping away at something, but there's no, all right, we did it. We accomplished the goal. And I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, with all of the years of school that I did between normal school, undergrad, law school, it really set my brain up to, we process the year in terms of semesters. And so every few months, I need some sort of, all right, check, next.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the aspects of my job that
So
has paired for me really nicely.
it seems like you can what was I going to say? Like it seems like you can really like see your track your progress
Definitely.
in what you do. So it's a lot. It's still a lot of growth in your position and what you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just, it's so nice to be able to complete something, to see it all the way through the process rather than just I show up for this 5% and then I step back out and
Mm.
hopefully they got it all the way there, but I have no idea.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong with this one, because I've talked to attorneys before,
Hmm.
and I haven't had the pleasure of, like speaking with them, on here. Uh, what I've heard was that what you learn in school differs from like the normal course of action, like your normal day-to-day
Definitely.
business.
Definitely.
So, what should someone that is in school right now expect as far as like, their future that they're not being prepared for in school?
Yeah, I think that that's one of the knocks that law schools get, and rightfully so, is that they don't create what people refer to as practice ready attorneys, that you learn all sorts of theoretical stuff, and law schools are oftentimes really focused on litigation and going to court,
Okay.
but that's not 100% of attorneys. That's probably not even 50% of attorneys. There's all sorts of other roles out there. So I think that it's great to try and connect with anyone in a type of practice that you find interesting and ask them, what does your day-to-day look like? And then every attorney will give you the same answer of, oh, it depends, there is no day-to-day. And
Hmm.
so my recommendation is usually ask them, like, okay, well, what did you do yesterday?
But do you think that if they gave different aspects of
Hmm.
law, the day to day, like what they're actually using, like, do you think it would give somebody a better understanding as to the direction that they want to go in law? Like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
think I thought it would be like this, but I had to
Hmm.
change because I talked to a lot of attorneys that start off in one way and then they wind up changing after the experience. But if
Hmm.
people could see the experience, or even get an idea as to what the experience is beforehand, then they can kind of make a better decision before they even enter it.
Definitely, definitely. And I don't think that this only applies to the law. I think that this is in any sort of career path, is the most exposure to practical experience that you can get is always going to be beneficial, whether that's an internship or an externship or getting a job during the summer or even during the semester, where you're actually able to see people who do this full time, what does their day look like. And I think it's also so important to look at the people who are 5 and 10 years ahead of you in that space and say, okay, when I'm 5 and 10 years further into my life, do I want my life to look like their life? Are they still working 90 hours a week even though they're 25 years in? And is that what I want to be doing? And maybe the answer is yes, you can make incredible money doing that. And that can be a huge motivator for a lot of people. But I think one of the most helpful things that I did for myself while I was in school was I worked every single semester and every summer so that I could get a lot of experience and so that I could try different things out. Because
like internships?
Yes, yeah, internships or part-time jobs in the law. And so that was so helpful to me to be able to either learn I really liked this, or I'm so glad I tried that because now I know that that one's not for me. And I think that that helps set me up for my full-time job after graduation to be a much better fit than it might have been without.
So you got your experience on the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. And I could definitely agree that experience is the best teacher. I mean, teaching sales and actually doing sales, I could tell why a lot of schools haven't even got into that, because just the aspect of sales and how everything is conducted, it relates to so many different aspects of life.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't get taught in school at all, which is understandable. Well, listen, it was great talking with you, and I do appreciate, all the information. I do hope that you have a happy holidays and enjoy your time. You say you're going to Hawaii.
Yes.
That's definitely something. Cool.
All right.